All right, you guys, so if you are not familiar with Roku is a stock that is obviously kind of in the streaming industry. So if you have seen any of the little streaming boxes, if you've seen the TCL TVs, they all come standard with Roku. Now, Roku is a company that went from, well, it looks like $176.55 per share at its high, down to lows recently, all the way down here right around $98 a share. So what made me, after this massive, very drastic move down, decide to take a position in this stock? And like I said, how was I able to make well over $1,000 in this particular trade? Well, rule number one was wait for the negative news. So as you can see over here on the chart, Roku took its highs here of $176.55 and had a massive sell-off. We're talking about a sell-off of nearly almost 21%. After that, it ended up deciding to sell from there, get a little bit of a run up, and then end up selling off another 19%. And then coming down an additional 34, almost 35% to this bottom here. So Roku had to have a lot of negative news. Basically, what this negative news allowed for traders like me to do is to get in at a cheaper valuation or a cheaper price that normally you would not have been able to see. One of the things we saw with this ticker is that it continued to run up and up and up. I ended up trying to short this thing when it was at highs of right around 90, I believe it was like $90 a share. And this sucker continued to run. I had to cut my losses. And once I finally started to see the crack, I was able to essentially take that and then go, okay, I can actually get in on this and ride this thing up because it is now overselling. Unfortunately, I didn't get to short this, but let's talk about the positives, how I've been able to capitalize so far on this support, consolidation, and then move up. Basically, after you find the negative news out, you're going to see this stock continue down, and you're going to need to go to number 2. And before we get to step number 2, do not forget to smash that thumbs up button, hit that bell notification, turn on the notifications, because that helps tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. And also, the thing is, with these videos, you don't always get to see them if you're not subscribed to the channel. YouTube, what they do with the algorithm is they actually only push this video to a few of you out there that have subscribed. If you end up liking the video, it goes to more of the subscribers. So turn that bell notification on if you want to be up to date, always getting some of my new content. You need to have a company that has an over sell-off, or a company that sells off so drastically that it has to come up. It's sold off way too much for you to not buy this company. As you can see down here on the RSI, it had sold off drastically again, and drastically some more. But you needed to have some consolidation. We'll get to that in just a second. But as the company continues down and holds below the EMA, this is one of those indicators that it is not in any realm or any area ready to be a buy. And that's one of the things we continue to see until we started to get right in here. This was literally, guys, 18 days after the initial sell-off. So you have to think about that in terms of trading days. If 5 days is a trading week, we're talking about over 3 weeks of negative news before we started to see this uptrend pattern in Roku. So this brings me to step number 3, and that is you need a large potential for profits, especially if you don't have a large account. A lot of times when you want to get into a stock and you want to make a lot of money, you don't realize how much of a push-up you are going to need in order to make a lot of money. With this particular ticker, and with it selling off nearly $70 per share, over $70 per share, you now have the opportunity and the ability to actually start making some money by buying on this dip. If you would have bought, let's say after a $10 sell-off or a $20 sell-off, there's not a lot of potential to make it up to those new highs. And I'm not just talking about Roku, I'm talking about any particular ticker. When you start buying not too far off the all-time highs, you're not allowing yourself for the opportunity to make much more on the upside. As we can see here with Roku, you can see that buying down here around the $100 price point, which we did, we are now able to ride it up near 22 or 20+%, and that is a huge potential for profit. One of the things that I did that broke some of my rules was I ended up getting in here too early. I ended up starting to buy right up here at about the 109, I'd say 110 mark, and then ended up adding in as we got a little bit lower. In fact, I think my average cost basis on this was probably right around $106, $107 overall between all my accounts. And honestly and truly, that left about a 7% margin in my account because I got started too early. I bought in thinking I could buy the dip like you could have done up here and got a dead cat bounce. I was mistaken. We never had any of those, and then it just continued to sell off until it found a heavy level of support right down here around that $100 mark. Oh, and before step number 4, do not forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification, because you don't want to miss any more of this content, you guys. We got to learn how to make some money. So what was the 4th step that I had to take in order to be profitable on this Roku trade? It was patience, 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 patience in order to wait for that confirmation. As you can see here on the chart, it took nearly 10 days in order for this stock to actually start to consolidate and then break above the EMA line. Once we finally saw this break right here above the EMA, that is where we started to see traction and started to see this continue to run. If you literally would have bought in here right when it did finally break above the EMA, you're still today, you would be up 13%. And that is simply due to the fact that you are being patient with your trade. Now, I can't stress to you how important it is to be patient when you look to be getting into some of these positions. It is easy, very, very easy to get tempted to jump in too early. And a lot of times new traders will not have the ability to sell out of their position and then re-enter. Once they sell out, once they buy in, they're either holding the bag or they will sell out and they won't get back into that stock because they're scared. And I understand, I've been there, I've done that. With that being said, one of the things that does separate more advanced traders from those that are newer is the ability to admit that you're wrong, get out of a position, wait till it does finally start to show an uptrend pattern, and then enter that trade for a profit. My 5th and final step in this process is to confirm the uptrend pattern. You need to make sure that it is a break of previous pattern or pattern of consolidation or downtrend, and that it is actually showing you signs of an uptrend pattern. Now, how do you do that? Well, as is the case, and it is not always the case here, but with Roku right here, we can see that there is a confirmation that there is a pull up. There is a push up right here above the EMA, and it's showing that it's consolidating and not really breaking below. It's kind of holding this pattern. It's not really showing downtrend signs. It's showing that this level of support and resistance is holding, and then it is holding this EMA. It's not dipping below, and it's showing bullish tendencies. One of the tendencies a lot of people have to do is to buy the dip, and I've been one of them, and I still sometimes get a little greedy, get a little gun shy, and end up pulling the trigger too quick. You need to be patient on these, and it will end up costing you a little bit, but as you can learn to be patient, this is where you start to make your profit, is right here in this consolidation range, and as you can see, it start to trend above. Now, one of the next steps, and I know I only said I was going to give you 5, but the 6th step is to know your limits of profitability. Where are you going to get out? Where were you going to cut losses if you were wrong? Are you going to follow those? Once you are profitable and once you are in the green, what's your level of, okay, I'm comfortable with the wins that I've taken, I'm going to look for another trade right now. And that is really going to set you apart from a lot of the other traders out there. You need to be able to methodically and systematically go through these things, and it's easier said than done. I promise you, I sometimes eat my own words because I'm not always perfect at that either. But one of the things that does make me profitable is that I do follow the pattern that I have placed and set forth beforehand and not gotten emotional during the trade. Now, if you can do these 5 steps, almost 6 steps, you are going to continue to find those stocks that are right. You're going to find the patterns that are best suited for you to be profitable. And honestly and truly, we've been able to do this in a market that has been just a game of pinball, back and forth, back and forth. Chinese being upset at us, the US being upset at China, clashes going on, people not liking the president, people impeaching or wanting to impeach the president. So much drama is going on in the markets, yet we're still able to find some of these trades that are very consistent and very profitable. You just have to know where to look for them. And if you haven't hit that thumbs up button already, you better do that now. But all jokes aside, that is really the tip and trick that I have found to make me profitable in these companies. If you want to be a part of my private mentorship, there is a link down below. Please feel free to click on that. I'd love to have you be a part of that so you can find more of these tickers as well. We are really doing pretty decent, I'd say, in the market right now. And I know I'm kind of tooting my own horn, but we're doing pretty good in a crazy, very sideways market. So thanks so much for tuning in, you guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye. Mark my words, this is going to be a good trading week. Pretty dang sure. Hopefully some money. Got to make some money. I got to buy a house.